Day 2 Attraction System Unlocked, Chapter 1. You were being tested yesterday. That is the point of today's conversation. I'm going to see in the chat if you can see that. Michael Morrow. Yes, okay, you can see that. Awesome. Guys, welcome back. This is Day 2 of the Attract Her virtual bootcamp. And yesterday, as I said, you were being tested. Okay. Yesterday, you joined our live call and you were called to make a change in your life. Okay. And I showed you the path. I walked you through the player's reality upgrade. I walked you through the pledge, a commitment to your new life. I walked you through my exact framework for conquering your approach anxiety, 7 steps to literally reprogram your brain. Okay. I showed you my step-by-step magnetic approach method. The word forward opening lines that I use, the body language techniques to exude that masculine aura, okay, that magnetic vibe. Now, let me ask you this. Did you make the pledge? Yesterday, did you go out of your own way and actually made that pledge? Did you go out there and meet 5 different women using the framework that I gave you yesterday? Did you do it? Did you pass yesterday's test? Because if you didn't make that pledge, this call is probably not for you. If you didn't meet at least 5 women yesterday, this call is not for you. You have probably nothing to do here. Okay. So I see Michael Moore, you failed. You fucking failed. The first step is admitting that you failed, which I'll give you a little bit of credit for that. Okay. Now, chapter 2. This brings me to this. It is time for me to tell you my real intentions. Why did I ask you to go out there and do these approaches yesterday? Why did I ask you to listen to me for an hour and a half yesterday? Okay. Why am I even doing this event in the first place? Okay. Quit single page. You know, there's something in life. Sometimes you can learn more about somebody if you know their intentions. Okay, sometimes knowing the true intentions of someone, why he's doing the things he's doing, why is this dating coach teaching X, Y, and Z, then you can tell if you should listen to that person or not. If the intentions are good, if the intentions are clear, sometimes it tells you, hey, I can listen to that person. Okay, so my intentions are not to help millions of guys. My intentions are not to save men, to revitalize masculinity. I hear this all the time from like big YouTube channels. I want to revitalize masculinity, right? I profit from the chaos right now. You have to understand this, right? Remember yesterday's lesson about the new sexual market? When you're a guy, when you're at the top in 2022, I'm telling you this, you're very happy to live in this world because you get older girls. Why would I revitalize masculinity if I'm at the top in 2022? Okay, you have to understand that is my experience. The little guy at the top, that is my experience on the right picture. Okay, so I'm very glad that the market is completely deregulated. I'm very glad that the market is completely fucked up because I'm a cold-hearted capitalist. Okay, and this brings me to the shift and a little story I'm going to tell you right now. I called it the Budapest rent. Okay, so my mentor and I talked about him yesterday. My mentor and I were traveling around Europe over the summer, and it's at this time that I truly internalized the attraction system. Okay, and so one day, him and I were sitting in Budapest at a cafe, and he went on this like crazy rant about life and society and who he was as a person, okay? And the rant started because I asked him a question. I said, look, like, why are you doing this for me? Like, why are you helping me? Why are you mentoring me? I mean, you're a very successful guy. Obviously, you're in your 30s. I'm not even in my 20s, and you're helping me, spending a crazy amount of time mentoring me, taking me around Europe, to teach me about life, basically. So I'm like, why are you doing this with me, right? And essentially, I told him also that, if I wasn't here, and I knew this for a fact, if I wasn't here in his life, it would be the same for him, right? He would still like fuck girls. He would still make money, travel the world. Like he would still have this amazing life. He basically didn't need me at all. Okay. And his reply was basically this crazy rant that started like this. He said, because Max, you're one of the few. You don't have the skill set, that's for sure. And I need to teach you this, but you have the drive, right? And I don't know many 18, 19-year-old guys that have the same kind of drive. When I met you for the first time, I immediately saw your drive. That's literally what he told me, okay? He said, I saw your drive at first, and then I showed you a couple of things, gave you a few tips, right? And you immediately applied and you got results. And then from there, you came back for more. And every time I told you to do something, you just did it. You didn't complain. You didn't ask necessarily why, right? I told you, hey, come travel with me around Europe. You just did it, right? And the vast majority of men are incapable of that. You have to understand the vast majority of men don't have the skill set, and they're incapable of learning the skill set. They're incapable of making a decision, of taking a risk. Most guys are happy to settle in an unhappy, sexless marriage with a low-quality bitch. And a small minority of men have a silent dream. Maybe that's your case, Michael, right? You said, no, I failed. Maybe that's your case. Maybe you have a silent dream of improving yourself, but you never take action. And then you have the 1%, the tiny 1% who is ready to put in the work and ruthlessly commit to their success. These are the types of people who cannot sleep at night if they haven't achieved their goals. Okay? And he said, basically, when I met you for the first time, I saw this, right? I saw this in you. So what a powerful rant, right? I was like, okay, okay, now I understand why you helped me. That's cool. And so basically he continued he continued explaining to me his very sectarian mindset. And I find it a very healthy mindset. It's a very sectarian mindset of like, if you're part of my tribe, I'm going to help you. I'm going to be overly generous. I'm going to be extremely generous with you. I'm going to give you everything I have if you're part of my tribe. But if you're not, you can just go fuck yourself. Right? And so it's a very like binary vision of life. You have the winners and you have the losers. Like either you're going to be my friends at the top, or you're going to be like the vast majority of guys, and I don't want to have anything to do with you. I don't care about you. I don't care about your problems. You understand? And another thing is, where is your energy going? Is your energy going to the mainstream, to TikTok, to endlessly scrolling on Facebook, YouTube, bullshit feminist on Twitter? Is your energy going to random girls that rejected you or told you you're ugly or whatever, you're a creep? Is your energy going to those kinds of people, or is your energy going towards self-improvement, building your own tribe, right? You have to separate yourself from the masses. You have to separate yourself from the mainstream, from the vast majority of people, because you don't want their life. You don't want their outcomes. Okay? I don't have normal friends. All of my friends are my wingmen. All of my friends are extremely successful in life. You have to understand that. And so that rant that he went on that day, it had a huge impact on me. And so since that conversation, I kept carrying that mindset of building my own tribe. And so my philosophy to this day is very elitist, right? I don't care about helping the world. I don't care about revitalizing masculinity. Okay. I care about building smart alliances with ambitious guys. And if you didn't make that pledge yesterday, if you didn't take action, I have literally zero incentive to convince you to join my tribe. Okay, you're not made for this. My message is not for you. And you can try to go on this journey by yourself, and maybe in 10 years you'll succeed. It took me 5 years, 4 to 5 years with a mentor. Maybe in 10 years, you'll succeed. Okay. So I know this seems harsh, and maybe some people are going to leave the call and think like I'm just an arrogant asshole, but that's truly genuinely my worldview. And I needed to tell you this before we can move forward, because that's who I am as a person. Okay. And that mindset, by the way, it had a crazy effect on my life. I've been attracting much higher quality people in my life. In the coaching business that I run, I've also been attracting much better quality clients. Okay, 70% of my clients are millionaires. They're business owners, real estate investors, stockbrokers. Like, these kinds of people have achieved things with their life, and we have an amazing collaborative mindset. It's like I'm teaching them about dating because that's my craft, and they teach me about whatever they're specialized in. Right? Awesome. So with that being said, with that introduction done, I want to dive into the actual stuff for today's masterclass, because we have a lot to cover. Yesterday, so far we covered, how to approach girls, blah, blah. Now, I'm going to cover the rest of the attraction system, basically. And before we do this, I need to talk to you about the problem, right? And the problem for the guys who did take action yesterday is that you might have approached a girl, and maybe for 1 or 2 girls it went well, and maybe for the rest of you were like, what the fuck should I do next? Right? That's the problem. That's a problem I've identified and that we're going to solve today. And I've experienced this millions of times. Okay. This feeling of like, okay, I did take action. Like, I'm like 1 step forward, right? 1% better. What do I do next? Okay. And if you don't know what to do next, it's completely normal, because you probably haven't spent years trying to figure this out like I did. Okay. I need to ask you this. What makes a girl decide both emotionally and logically to fuck you? That's the core of the question. If you can answer this, then you can answer the rest of the attraction system problems. Okay. So that's what we're going to focus on. If you're not able to give me a clear answer on what makes your girl decide logically and emotionally if she wants to fuck you, then that's normal. That's the reason why you're clueless. Okay, so this call is going to answer that specifically. Okay, and you might be a great guy, you might have a great product. Yesterday we talked about product versus marketing, and I said it's very important that you have a great product, you have a great life, you're a great guy in person, but it's also important that you learn the marketing aspect. And so, you might have realized yesterday that you might be a great guy, and I had this feeling countless times of, I'm a great guy. I have 2 arms. I have 2 legs. I know I have great things to offer a girl, but I just can't express it. I just can't convey it. Being and conveying are 2 different things, right? So today it's going to be oriented towards conveying. Okay. So the solution to this problem is what I call reverse engineer. And that's something nobody else is doing. Okay. And that's something my mentor taught me. So you have to look at the reality of, sex and the reality of dating. Like, why do we date? Why do we mate? Okay. At the core of it, it's because men and women have reproductive strategies, right? Like, that's literally why we date. Things have evolved over time because we live in cities, our world has changed. But at the core, you cannot deny millions of years of human evolution. Okay, those millions of years of human evolution are literally dictating almost, I would say, 99% of what we do and how we date. And men and women have extremely different reproductive strategies. Okay, men want to spread their seeds. It's literally like what we have here between the legs, that is meant to spread. Okay. Women, they want to take care of their offspring, right? And so what they're doing is they're withholding sex for as long as possible to make a guy emotionally invested in the offspring survival. Okay? So by nature, all of us guys, we want to fuck. And by nature, all the girls are instinctively driven by withholding sex, if that makes sense. Okay. So this means that technically you're not the one in control. Like technically girls are fully in control of dating, the dating process, right? So you're not the one in control. You're not the one deciding whether you'll fuck tonight or not. Okay. It's the girl who decides. She has full control over everything else. Okay. And if the girl is the one controlling the whole process, this means that you cannot decide. The only thing you can do is you can influence her decision. You can guide her process. You can guide her thinking process, her decision-making process. And that's exactly what this attraction system is all about. You see, a lot of dating advice is centered around like you, right? Like, oh, like you have to meditate, or you have to like some of that stuff is not completely trash. Some of that stuff is, it's okay, decent advice. But the real next level is that deep, advanced female psychology stuff, where you start looking at, instead of looking at yourself, you look at the girl. What does she want? What is going to trigger certain emotions, certain feelings that will influence her wanting to fuck you right now, right? Like that's the next level. That's where I want to take you in this call. Okay. So unlocking the attraction system. So during the time I traveled with Mr. Jamal, I had actually a very unique opportunity to watch, his moves, watch the techniques he used in the moment. So that gave me an incredible insights on how to get better, obviously. Okay. He also took me by the hand through hundreds of interactions, right? He taught me how to cold approach women during the day, on the street, at night, how to take girls home from a nightclub as well. We started traveling around Europe, as I said, and that's the moment I truly internalized the attraction system. And so from there's really a before and an after. Like, before traveling with him, like I had learned a few things here and there, but then after that, that's when things really clicked, and I started dating like the kinds of girls I was truly, genuinely excited to date, like what I would consider my perfect 10s. Okay. And so, obviously the way he taught me things were much more informal. And so since I'm running a business here and I'm trying to teach a larger scale, I've had to break things down into like simple steps, a simple process you can just follow that I can teach, right? So I've come down to 5 simple steps, right? And these are approaching, attracting, getting her to chase you, arousal, and closing. Okay? Approach, attract, getting her to chase, arousal, and closing. And you have to understand that these steps, like it's not a coincidence. It's not like, it's actually very, very well thought out. Okay, the way I've built those steps, because each of those 5 steps are designed to trigger a variety of emotions within the girl, and ultimately, move things towards sex within a very short amount of time. And I'll come back to why, because here you can read maybe 2 hours within just 2 hours. I'll come back to this later on. Why do I say 2 hours? So these emotions are very different. You have like curiosity, attraction. At first when you meet a girl, she's not instantly attracted. There's like a bit of curiosity, like who is this guy, right? Who is this high value dude? Then you have attraction. Then you have like asking questions, seeking your approval, which is another one. A desire to chase, lust, arousal, connection, obsession. Like she goes through like that roller coaster of emotions, right? And you have to take her through those different emotions to get to the final destination, basically, right? And so for a regular guy, I experienced this myself when I was, friend zoned, or even before I learned all of this. For a regular guy, that emotional journey, it takes days, right? If not weeks, sometimes. And I'm sure in this call right now, as we're speaking, there are people who have been dating a girl for like 3 months or 3 weeks, and you haven't fucked her yet, right? That is, to me, that's very, very sickening. It's very sad. And the attraction system is designed to skip all of that, right? To trigger those emotions really quickly so that you can just skip the waiting line, get her to your bedroom within a very short amount of time. And I've put here, it's a theoretical flow chart, right? Things are even more complex in the program as well. But you have to take her through all of these things basically, right? When you know how to make this happen, like it becomes very clear, it becomes very simple to implement as well. So the best way I can teach you this system is by actually walking you through a script, okay? And so this is the daytime approach script, and you're gonna get a copy for free if you message me the word daytime script either on Facebook, Telegram, or email, okay? And so I'm gonna open this script right now. Okay, so I need to share preview, boom, okay. So welcome to the daytime approach script. So basically in the script, since our event is oriented towards you meeting women in the daytime, right? Because there's plenty of scenarios. You can meet women online, you can meet women when I say online, it's like social media. You can meet women through nightclubs, parties, things like this. But during this event, we don't have much time, so I'm just going to walk you through a daytime approach script. Okay, so it's a really cool document. You have many pages, and you also have assignments. So you have 2 assignments that you must complete to end this bootcamp. Okay, this is why you can ask me for the script, and I'll send it to you. So basically, yesterday I taught you a few of my openers, right? And I showed you a pre-selection opener and a familiarity opener, right? So tell me in the chat if you remember those and if those made sense before we move to sexual premise. Do you guys remember this? I'm not seeing anybody in the chat. So do you remember the pre-selection openers, the familiarity openers, the actual, exactly, cool, Ethan. So yeah, the actual psychological principles we used, right? So now from there, what I usually do, like from the get-go, right? It's like I approach a girl. So when you approach a girl, sometimes you're in the moment. So you're going to make like a very contextual approach. Like, she's looking at something, you make a joke about what's happening around, blah, 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 right? But there isn't that sexual premise. There isn't that context. And so after maybe your first sentence, the girl might be like, okay, what should I do? Should I leave? What does this guy want? Right? So she's not really sure of what you want. She's not really sure of the context. And so that's called the premise. And so, for example, if you go to a bar and you talk to a bartender, the premise isn't sexual. The premise is you're here, you're a customer, and she is getting you a drink, right? So the premise is non-sexual. And the only way you can escape that, right? So this is actually a very useful tip if you want to fuck some bartenders. The only way to escape that is by creating a sexual premise, right? And so that's one of the earliest things that we do in a conversation to make sure that we're not in the friend zone and that the girls understands why we're here and, that we're not in a friend zone. Okay, so that's very important. And so I'm going to show you a few ways, a few lines that I use to create that sexual premise. And in fact, we have different techniques that we use. So the first one is what I call a romantic premise. So a romantic premise, you have 3 kinds of premises. You have a romantic premise, you have an erotic premise, and you have a pornographic premise. Okay? The pornographic is when like you talk about sex and things like this. There's very specific ways of doing it, but I'm not going to teach it to you right now because when you're during the daytime, especially during your first few minutes, you're not going to talk about sex directly. Okay. So the first two ones are romantic. So romantic is like when you create a little reality of, you being in a romantic relationship with a girl. So for example, it could be, hey, I saw you from over there. You looked adorable. I had to come over and say hi. Right. Another romantic premise is, if you're with a girl and she's with her friend, right? You have two girls to manage, basically, which will happen a lot during the day. You could look at the friend, stand next to your girl, and be like, hey, me and her, do you approve? Do you think we go well together? Right? So you're creating that little reality of you and your girl already dating, and that creates a premise. Do you understand? So that's one thing. That's a romantic premise. Now we have also an erotic premise. So an erotic premise is typically something I'll use more nowadays, just because I'm more comfortable with my sex life, things like this. The more comfortable you are with sex, like the easier it's going to be to create an erotic and a pornographic premise, right? So something I'll say, it's actually very subtle, is telling the girl she has amazing eye contact. Okay, so complimenting her not on something she wears, but complimenting not on something she looks, right? Like not on something she has no control over, but complimenting her, on her behavior. So when you tell a girl you have an amazing eye contact, you're actually complimenting the way she looks at you. Do you understand? It's very different from telling her she's beautiful. It's very different. And it's much more attractive to say that she has an amazing eye contact, because then you're creating that reality already. Another question you could ask is, I'm curious, what's your type of guy? Okay, so asking the girl what her type of guy is. Okay. Now, another one is what I call a premise in the negative. So a premise in the negative is when you are telling the girl not to be sexual, sort of, right? So it's like, I'll give you an example. You can tell a girl, stop giving me that look, right? And you can say it in a playful way with a smile on your face. And so when you say that, it implies that she is giving you that look, right? So you're basically verbalizing a non-premise, which creates a premise. You understand? So it's a bit more subtle. And it's also creating what we call a pricing frame, but we're not going to talk about it today. And so from there, something I do that is probably one of the most important things is conveying high value. So conveying high value, to make it very simple, is conveying who you are, okay? And you're supposed to be high value. Remember yesterday, we talked about the player's reality upgrade. I talked to you about, the importance of being high value, on top of having those influence skills, on top of having that strong frame, that strong reality. So you need to be high value. You need to have a great life. Okay, you need to be at least, the very least, working on that life. You don't need to be rich to get girls. You need to get richer to get girls. You understand? Yesterday, I told you that women don't care about static value. They care about a dynamic value, right? Who you are becoming. So now there's a few things you could say to really convey your value. And I'm going to share 3 things with you right now. The first one is what I call pre-selection. The second one is status. And the third one is traveling and lifestyle. So the first one, pre-selection. Pre-selection means that you're being validated by other people. So if you have like an ex-girlfriend who was like a 10 out of 10, and you're able to convey that in a conversation, the girl is going to think, okay, this guy has dated a model before. This guy's dated a 10 out of 10 before. He must be high value in some ways, right? Another one could be, a famous person, right? Or you have access to a certain environment. You have access to a very exclusive place, right? Those things are pre-selection. So you have a social pre-selection and you have sexual pre-selection. Sexual pre-selection is when, you have like a model, an ex-girlfriend who was a model, for example. So a lot of times I'll bring on, very casually that, my ex was a model for X brand, right? Or that, just the fact you'll be surprised, just the fact of mentioning your ex in a positive way, it is going to create some pre-selection, right? Or if you enter a bar and you have a girl next to you, obviously that's going to create pre-selection, right? Another one is, I love this place. The owner's a good friend of mine. Okay, it's a line that I use as well. And guys, I'm not faking this, right? Like genuinely, if I'm in a place where I know the owner, I'm going to say this line. If I'm in a new club and I know nobody, I'm not going to say I know the owner, right? It has to come from like a place of truth and honesty. The second pillar that we're going to talk about right now is status. So status is basically, for example, having a great job, having a great career, okay? A career that brings you power, a career that brings you money, a career that brings you good things in life. So if you run a business, say it, that's great. If you are a high-level, engineer in some sort of firm or a consultant, say it, right? These things are all high value. Now, they're not going to change the entire interaction, but they're going to make an impact for sure. Okay. And then the last one is traveling and lifestyle. When I say traveling, it doesn't necessarily mean going to, going around the world and going to some exotic places. Traveling could literally be, I'm going to this club tonight, or I'm going to that restaurant. Okay. And I'm going to show you, I have actually taken a screenshot of a text conversation that I'll show you later on. And I'll come back to that idea of traveling because, you'll see why. So those are the three things for conveying high value. Now, the fourth thing that I do, and it doesn't have like a specific order right now, right? So it's like opening and then like a bit of like high value, a bit of a sexual premise, and then commonality, right? So commonality is the fourth thing. So commonality means that, you're telling the girl you're a regular person in a way, right? Like you're showing the girl like you and her share the same reality. And so there's actually a good balance to find between being a lot higher value than the girl and actually experiencing the same reality as the girl, right? So I'll give you an example. If I meet in my dating life, I meet a lot of, 19-year-old girls. Okay. I'm 24 now. So, if I start talking a lot about my crazy lifestyle, traveling around the world, being a business owner, the girl is going to be impressed for sure. But she also might think, okay, like this guy is too far from my reality. And that might disconnect her a little bit. Right? So it's like, imagine like if I tell you my story and I'm only telling you the positive sides and I'm never telling you that, 4 years ago, I was an awkward guy, an awkward virgin. One side of the story is missing and you're going to have a hard time to connect with me. Okay. So it's the exact same principle with girls. So you have to tell her things about who you are, right? Things that she can relate to. So if I'm with a 19-year-old girl, I'm also going to talk about the time when I was a student at McGill in Canada, when I was a student in Paris, right? If I'm in Eastern Europe, in Romania, where I live half of the year, and I meet a girl who is a student, she tells me, yes, I study law or I study medicine. I'm going to tell her, hey, do you study at this university or this university? So I'm going to drop like the name of the university just to show her that I kind of like know I can relate to who she is and to her lifestyle. Okay, so that's very important. Now, 4 lines I'm going to share with you today for commonality is number one, commonality on the open. So that's actually another category of openers that you can use, which is commonality on the open. And so one example is looking at the girl, right, with a bit of a smile and also like a bit of curiosity, like you're not sure, right? So you look at the girl like this, and you're like, do I know you? With a bit of like uncertainty in your tonality, right? That is so powerful. Like looking at the girl, like, do I feel like your face seems familiar, right? So if you're able to say it like that, a lot of times girl are going to be unsure, or they're going to laugh, or you're going to trigger a positive reaction. Okay, so that's commonality on the open. The second one is commonality through association. So basically, you ask a question like, hey, where do you come from? Or what do you do for work? And then she gives you an answer, whatever the answer. And then you're going to use that to talk about things. Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, cool. You work in oh, you study law. Oh, cool. Yeah. Actually, my best friend studies law at this university as well. Maybe you know him. His name is Josh, blah, blah. Right? You see how you're starting to make conversation. And guys, this is something you instinctively know. I'm sure you instinctively know this, because think about the times if this happened to you already, you had a great connection with a girl. Chances are you had things in common with that girl. Okay. And the conversation just, was flowy naturally. Okay. It went well. The last type of commonality is commonality on through cold read. Okay. So you're looking at the girl and then you're guessing something. Oh yeah. You know what? I can tell that you're not from here. I can tell you're from the South, or I can tell you're blah, blah, right? So you're making a cold read, and that's going to create a conversation as well. Okay. Now, we're slowly getting towards the last part of a conversation, at least the second half of a conversation. So you can convey who you are, what you do for work, what you're about, right? You've made sure that you shared a positive thing about yourself, right? It's like, I'm going in this direction, baby. You come with me or goodbye, right? You want to share that kind of like mentality with a girl. So once you've done this, you want to make her qualify. It's almost like, are you qualified to come on the journey with me, right? Like, are you qualified to follow me on my adventures? And so you can start asking questions to girls like, are you spontaneous? How adventurous are you? Do you like X, Y, and Z? Do you like cocktails? Oh, what would you do if X, Y, and Z? Right. So you can ask like a bit of questions, and you can take that little, investing tonality, like, oh yeah, like, right. That where you're trying to figure out if she is the right fit for your life. And I'm not telling you ever to fake this. It has to come from a place of certainty. It has to come from a place of authenticity. And guess what? It should be authentic if you've made the last assignment. If you've gone through the last assignment of answering what are the good companions for your life. Remember the pledge, and before that, the 3 sacred questions. What kind of man you are, what kind of life you want to live, what are the good companions for that life? Okay. Another thing I do a lot of times is once she's qualified, I'm going to create a little narrative. So a little narrative of like, girls love to have drama. They love stories. They love to tell themselves a story. They love to go back to their friends and tell them, hey, yesterday, you know what? I met Michael. He's an amazing guy, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. At first, he took me on a date, right? I wasn't sure if he would fuck me, but then it just happened. So they want to tell themselves a story like this, right? And so you need to create that story. You need to be the one creating that story. So we have something called plot lines. So in this call, I'm going to share one plot line with you. So a plot line is a story where you create a bit of drama. The number one plot line, the only plot line I'm going to share today, is a plot line I call hate at first sight. That's when you're able to convey that at first you weren't sure if you liked the girl. Like you liked her, but something about her was off, right? Something is wrong, something's off. And then she did something, or She said something, and that changed your whole perception of her. And from now on, she's winning you over. She's slowly winning you over. And so if you're able to implement a narrative like this, the girl's going to be crazy, man. The girl's going to go crazy. She's going to be like, who the fuck is this guy? Right? Like telling me he didn't like me at first, and then I did X, Y, and Z. Like I was super adventurous, or I actually studied X, Y, and Z, and now he likes me, or I read books and now he likes me. Like, who is this guy? Right? So that's one thing I do sort of. Okay, now we're gonna step into the last part, which is closing. And so in order to close, if you're meeting a girl during the daytime, you go through all of these things, you have a nice conversation. Now it's time to get the phone number, right? A lot of guys are not closing. You need to have that closer's mentality, and that's what I teach in the attraction system. Okay, so the way we close here is very soft. Okay, we don't get a phone number to get a phone number. The phone number is just a tool. It's a vehicle to see the girl again. It's not, you know, sometimes you go on YouTube and you watch these pranks, right, of like guys picking up girls, and they're like, "Oh, can I get your Snapchat?" Right? First of all, Snapchat's for geeks, okay? But they're asking for the number, or they're asking for the Snapchat to win, to have a sense of victory. That's, I can tell from watching the video, the girl's not interested. Okay, what a girl wants is to see you again. And so that's why you need to future project. You need to create an idea first, an idea of a date, where you're going to take her, what you guys are going to do. You need to close on that first. And once she's on, once you have that positive reaction, like, yes, I want to see you again, yes, I want to go on a date, then you can get the phone number as a tool. And you're going to see, if a girl agrees to go on that adventure, she's going to give you her phone number 100% of the time. In fact, I never get a girl telling me she doesn't want to give me her phone number. Never, ever, ever, ever. Because every time I get a phone number, it's for a very specific reason. And it's with the underlying assumption that she wants to see me again. Okay? So a future adventure example could be, for example, okay, I'm going to take you to X, Y, and Z. I'm going to take you to my favorite bar, a secret cocktail bar nobody knows about. It's going to be the best date of your life, right? Or, you know, you can come up with creative things, right? If I have a date, a lot of times I do a date directly at my place. I'm going to sell it in a way that sounds fun, sounds interesting, okay? More on that later. And then the closing, you know, the girl's like, oh yeah, sure. Yeah, why not? Why not? It could be fun, right? You're like, cool. Do you have WhatsApp? Okay, send me a text so I can save your number. And so the process here is the following. You ask the girl if she has WhatsApp. I personally travel around. So if I'm in a foreign country, I'm not going to exchange phone numbers. I'm going to exchange WhatsApp, which is basically the same as having a phone number, right? Also, difference between WhatsApp and social platforms like Facebook or Instagram, you are not, it's WhatsApp is very direct. So if you send a message, she has the notifications on, she's going to see it right away. If you send a message on Instagram, if she's a hot girl, she's not going to see it. You're going to end in the requests, right? Like all the other guys you're competing with. So you need to get a WhatsApp. And then from there, you know, instead of you texting her, what I do is I take the phone and I manually put my number in it. And then from there, I send myself a text on her phone, from her phone. So I take her phone. Okay, cool. You have WhatsApp? Awesome. Yeah, give me your phone. I'll put my number. Right. So I go in her contacts, add my number, send myself a text with her first name. Okay, so Kiara, this is her first name. Boom, I'm going to send myself a Kiara. Okay. And that's literally done. Like once you've done this, you have a phone number and you can go on a date. Okay. Now let's dive into the assignments for today. So what you can do is you can print this document and you can answer 2 questions. Assignment number 1 is, what makes it tempting for you to go and say hi to a girl? What makes it irresistible in the first 10 seconds? Okay, so you have to honestly ask yourself, why would I ever go talk to a girl? Well, I would ever go talk to a girl if she has this quality, or if she portrays that character trait, or if she wears that kind of outfit. Okay, if she wears a legging, or if she wears some sort of shoes, whatever, guys. Like, I'm not the one who's going to tell you what you should like in a girl. Okay, the point of this assignment is to make this as personalized as possible. So it's your job to find out what you like in a girl. Maybe it's a specific look on her face. Okay, and once you find this out, you can go in the real world and you can use those when you're starting conversations. Hey, honestly, you had this innocent look on your face. I had to come over and say hi. All right. Or honestly, I saw you studying over there and you were so fucking cute. I had to come over and say hi. Okay. If you like a girl who studies or reads a book, then you can put this in your assignment. The second assignment is what I call the high value men list. What you're going to be doing is you're going to list 10 high value things about yourself, your personality, your lifestyle, your skills. Okay. And you're going to use the pillars of high value. So here I said 4 pillars. I actually talked to you about 3, which are pre-selection, status, and traveling and lifestyle. Okay. Oh, actually, I'm giving more here. So pre-selection, status, sexual authority, which I didn't talk about, lifestyle, adventure, looks, genes. Okay. So make a list. And then by the end of this list, you can tell yourself, congratulations. There are now 10 things I'm excited about. Okay. 10 things that make my life, that make me as a guy a great companion, somebody who has a lot to offer. And you can start conveying those things in your conversations with women. Okay, and a side note, if you click on this, right, if you click here, you're going to be able to book a call with me. Okay, for the guys who are the most dedicated. Awesome. So now we're done with this daytime script. Guys, are you excited about this? Like, was it cool that I just walked you through all of these different things and all of these different lines? I think it was pretty cool. So I can definitely say when my mentor taught me this, I was like, what the fuck? Like, so much genius in this. Okay. So I'm going to come back to the notes. And just as yesterday, as we did yesterday, you can drop the word. So you can send me a message, daytime script, if you want the previous document. And if you want this document, which is, I think, like 25 pages, you can send me the word notes and I'm going to send it to you as well. Okay. So far, what we have accomplished right now is we've gone through all of that stuff, right? Openers, premise, high value, commonality, making her qualify, plot lines, narrative, future project, closing, all of these things. Okay. And now I want to talk to you about texting, right? And actually setting up dates. I don't want to leave you like that. I don't want to have you collect a bunch of phone numbers and then do nothing. So I'm going to talk to you about, how to set up dates and things like this. So the first thing is I need to explain to you what is my mindset when it comes to dating. Okay. And this is what I call the smooth date reality. So most guys, they view dates as this very formal thing where, you take the girl for a dinner and it takes like a long time and you sit down in front of each other and you're supposed to ask like super like logical questions, right? To me, that's not what a date is. Okay? A date to me is very low investment. It's very chill. It's very casual. It's very relaxed. Okay. And it's honestly a moment where I'm taking some time off of my conquest, right? So I'm running this business. I'm coaching guys all day long, right? I'm making money, investing in crypto, whatever. And then it's like, I go on a date just to relax, just to have fun, right? So I don't have time by default. I do not have time to plan something complex. I do not have time to create some sort of like fancy journey. Oh, I'm going to take you there to the Eiffel Tower. And then I'm going to take you to this restaurant. And then we're going to take pictures at the Louvre, right? Fuck that. Okay. I don't have time. I'm too busy. And women, you're going to be shocked. Women actually find this dynamic intrinsically exciting. Okay. And so that's where the difference kicks in between a boring guy and an exciting guy. A smooth date is a boring date with an exciting guy. A loser date is an exciting date with a boring guy. Okay, so let me ask you this. Difference between me, an elite player, and you, okay? You're going to take that girl through that whole journey in Paris. It's going to take 8 hours. You're going to spend $300 on the date. And I'm going to take the girl to my place directly. I'm going to fuck her. And let me ask you this. What was the most fun to her? Most fun by far is my date. My date with a cool guy. Okay? A guy who can trigger her emotions. A guy who can make her chase her, create some drama, create some plot lines. All of these things. That's what she wants. Okay? So loser date, movie date, restaurant date, high investment activities like going on a trip. Okay? Smooth date equals coffee date, drinks date, and fuck date. Okay? So, awesome. With that being said, so yeah, a smooth date, on a smooth date, you share stories about your exciting life. Okay? But the problem is, high investment dates that I talked about, like going in a restaurant or a movie or something like this, that takes a long time. It's pressuring and it creates the wrong dynamic, right? And it's very long-term relationship oriented. So if it's not sexual, if there is no sexual premise between you and the girl, it's going to create the wrong dynamic from the get-go. Okay, my dates are sexual. I fucked a girl the first date. Okay, first date or very least second date. Okay. So yeah. And also one thing that I put in bold here that I want to share is a guy who gives too much too early is not trustworthy. Okay, so think about this. If you're going on a date with a girl and you're like giving her all this attention, right? You're paying like $300 for a date, and you're doing this crazy fancy stuff. She's gonna think like, this guy's desperate. This guy's fucking desperate. Like, how many dates, can he handle like this? Whereas my dates are not desperate because they're very easy, right? A girl typically thinks like, I have dates like this all the time, right? So it conveys more pre-selection. It makes the girl fight a bit more. It makes the girl like want to qualify herself, want to chase you, right? A girl will think, if he makes me that important in the beginning, he must do that to all the girls, and I'm not really that special to him, right? Okay. So, awesome. Now let's talk about the logistical setup. I'm just going to see if there's a question in your chat. Okay, definitely excited. Cool. Okay, so logistical setup. So you need to stack the odds in your favor. Okay, so if you're going on a date with a terrible logistical setup, you are fucked. Okay, my dates are either directly at my place or in a bar or a cafe next to my place. Okay, so less than a kilometer away from my place. Okay, if you're in the US, you could say less than a mile away. Doesn't really matter. But the thing is, typically, depends on where you are, depends if it's a big city or not. But the cities that I've lived in for real, like Montreal, Paris, and Bucharest in Eastern Europe, in all these cities, I was able to set up dates less than a kilometer away from my place. This means that I could go on a date, have a drink, and then I could bring the girl back to my place in less than 15 minutes. Right? And so that setup facilitates sex. It facilitates sex. It helps me bring the girl back to my place. And if you're not thinking that way, if you're not thinking about facilitating sex, you need to start adopting that closer's mindset. Right? You need to stop compromising with a girl who's not willing to come and meet you in your area. Right? And you need to stop meeting girls halfway. You're doing a disservice to yourself. You're thinking, if I meet the girl halfway, she's gonna take less time to come and it's gonna be more equal and more fun. Fuck that. You're doing a disservice to yourself and a disservice to her. Because if she goes on a date with you and she's actually turned on, she's aroused, she wants to go to your place and fuck you, how are you gonna do that if you live like 30 minutes away or 20 minutes away? Right? And then when you're more advanced, you can, sometimes you can set up a date at some place. Like sometimes I'll take a girl to a club with me and then I'll go back home in an Uber ride, right? But that's a bit more advanced. So keep it easy, right? Set up a date next to your place so that it's easy for you to bring her back. Okay. So, average guy frame reality is come near my place, right? It's telling the girl, like, come near my place. It doesn't frame it as a win for her. Instead, the player frame is, look, I'm going to take you somewhere amazing. I'll meet you in this area, which is the area you live in, right? So you always want to portray the area you live in as the best area in the city. If you're not living in a good area, change, move. Okay. All girls want to be taken somewhere amazing. Okay. So you need to convey a bit of fun like this. Guys, even if I bring a girl back to my place, I'm always framing it as an amazing thing, as an amazing date. Okay. Like best date of your life. Because you're a great guy. You need to have this mentality, right? That anything with you is amazing. So recap, why set up a date next to your place? Because you're the fucking boss, you're in charge, you have the closer mindset, and deep down, she will also want to fuck you if the chemistry is good. She just doesn't know it yet. Okay? Now, with that being said, let's talk about text confirmation sequence. Because a lot of guys are struggling a lot with texting, and I need to help you with this right now. So I'm going to walk you through a bit of a text confirmation sequence, and this is going to be useful if you guys experience a high number of flakes, which means girls canceling their dates, right? Girls not showing up to the date, which is even worse. So the first step is, once you get the number, you're going to start the conversation. And right here, I have two little screenshots that I want to show you that might alter your reality when it comes to texting. It might change things, the way you view texting. So I met this girl in a bar, okay, and when I got this girl's Instagram, okay, and as a side note, okay, because I told you, now I'm realizing it might be confusing because we're on Instagram, and I told you earlier to only get WhatsApp. I get Instagrams because my Instagram is good and because I have the Instagram system, okay? Which is something I'm not even talking about right now, which is a whole other stuff, okay? I don't want to confuse you. So I do get Instagrams, but it's the next level. Right now, we're beginner level. I want to teach you it the right way. So imagine this is WhatsApp. I'm like, Georgia, which is her name. And then she's like, hey, what you're doing? Then I send her a video, a 3 seconds video of my meal in a restaurant. Okay. So this is literally just me starting the conversation. And then she's like, what restaurant? And I'm like, no idea. One of my friends took me there. Okay. And this brings me back to something I said about high value, I think. Or yeah, I think I said this about high value. And so, I'm a tourist, but I still have friends. I'm still connected to people who take me to nice places. Okay, so here I'm conveying some value. And then she's like, oh, looks really good. then I'm like, sorry, what are you up to this afternoon? She's like, oh, no plans. What about you? And then I'm like, let's grab drinks. And she's like, sure. When and where? Okay. So that's a very small conversation to show you exactly how I start a conversation. Okay. What is my opener? My opener is always the same. It's just the first name. Okay. To get her interest, right? Almost like to send a little notification, but she doesn't know what's coming, right? So it's like notified. And then she wants to know, hey, what you're doing, right? She wants to know what's next. And then the second step, the real first step is what I call the soft closing. So the soft closing is basically to see how she's reacting when you start saying that you two are going to take drinks, right? So you could say, let's grab drinks, or you could say, we're getting drinks soon, right? And you want to see if she reacts positively. You are never inviting a girl on a date if she doesn't react to that first message. Do you understand? So the attraction system is actually extremely, extremely careful, and it's very soft and step by step and smooth. You can never really get rejected with this approach because you're never asking for things you know the girl's going to refuse. If you're like, let's grab drinks, and the girl's like, oh, I'm really busy these days, you're like, okay, move on to the next girl. Okay. You don't give a shit, right? And you never get a rejection. It's better to leave something on a positive note than to burn the boat. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to paint the picture in her mind. So that's not always, but here I have a little screenshot of what it looks like to paint the picture of the date in her mind. So you could say something like, yeah, right now it's COVID, most bars are closed, but it's okay. I got a really cool place. I'm going to take you there. We're going to make some cocktails, cook something, and have fun. Right? So you paint the idea of the date in her mind, and it should look like something fun. Right? It should look like you're not just trying to fuck her. You're trying to do something fun. Cook, make cocktails, things like this. Okay, now screening for availability. Once you have like a commitment, like, oh, that's cool, blah, blah, then you can say, when are you free, right? Or I'll be free later this week. And then again, you wait for a positive reply, right? And then the next step is to confirm the date. Once you have a positive reply, you could say, hey, perfect, I'll message you on, and then you insert the day of the date. So basically, all of that stuff I shared, that's like prior to the day of the date. And then on the date, and then that's like the last one. Sorry. That's like the last message you will send. And then after that, it's going to be on the date, on the day of the date. Sorry. Okay. I hope I'm not confusing you guys. Okay. So then you're going to say, hey, perfect, I'll message you on Thursday if you're dating on Thursday with the address. Okay. And then on the day of the date, you're going to say, hey, name still good for tonight. And so you send this early in the afternoon. So if the date is for the night, if the date is 8 p.m., you're going to send this at 1 p.m. Right? So early on in the afternoon. Because remember, the first thing is you're setting up a date next to your place. So if she doesn't come, you can still go out with your friends, or you can still work on your career, whatever. Okay, so you're never fucked. And then you're confirming super early on. So at 1 p.m. So at 1 p.m., if a girl tells me no, I still have some like last minute, I still have like a few hours to set up a date with another girl. Right. So I never get flaked on. My agenda is always full. Okay. And then on the day of the date, you're going to tell her to message you when she arrives as well. Okay. And then, so you're going to tell her, yeah, so good for tonight. Okay. Awesome. We'll meet there. Message me when you are there. Okay. And then 1 hour before the date, I'll do the same. I'm like, hey, just 10 minutes before you arrive, message me. right? So that basically you are only getting out of your place when she is almost arrived. Okay. A lot of times I'll go out, I'll get out of my own place when the girl is already waiting for me at the date. You understand? So there's no way I'm getting flaked on. Okay. Awesome. Cool, guys. So, I hope this is clear. I hope that process is clear. So far, what we've covered is number one, how to meet and attract women during the day, okay, today, and how to text and set up smooth dates. Now, how many of you guys would like me to elaborate a bit? How many of you guys want me to go more in depth? How many of you want to know more tactics on how to sexualize, how to make women chase you, how to really master what I just showed you, which is the attraction system? Okay, you can drop this in the chat. And instead of just spending 2 hours with me over a weekend, how would you like me to mentor you over the next 4 weeks to implement the attraction system in your life? And so that brings me to right now, your invitation to join our tribe. And I'm honestly right now, like my heart starts racing because I'm honestly genuinely excited for this. Okay. Now I know that in this call, not everybody is going to take me on this offer. Okay. This is not for everybody. Like the attraction system, my full system on how to approach, attract, take home beautiful women in less than 2 hours. Not everybody's going to take me on that offer. Okay. The winners will naturally self-select. Okay. You will recognize you will recognize yourself if you're a winner. Okay. And if you want to end this journey right now, it's completely fine. Honestly, I am not judging you. There's no hard feelings. Okay. And if you do send me a question on Messenger, I'll be more than happy to answer. Okay. And I'll still send you some free value. So this program is definitely not for everybody. It's for the guys who want to actually receive help, like I did in my life. Okay. And right now, I'm literally about to make an offer, a public offer I've never made in the history of my coaching business. And this is going to be the best offer I've ever made. And I'm not going to be making a public offer like this until spring 2023. All right. Cool. Awesome. So I see you guys are excited. So imagine having me literally like hold your hand, just like Mr. Jamal did with me 7 years ago. Okay. So this attraction system is about two things. It's about speed. Okay. You'll attract more girls in the next 4 weeks than you have in the last decade. That is for sure. If you start applying the stuff I'm going to teach you, that is for sure. Okay. And the second thing is about mastery. You're going to know exactly the lines. Yes, that's great. But you're going to internalize the concepts. Like right now, I give you a bunch of lines, right, with the daytime script. And that's great. But I'm going to go much more in depth with every principle, every concept, every technique. Okay. And so this is exactly what we're going to be covering. Okay. Now, again, I need to be super clear. I want to make this transparent. Like if you joined because you were curious, probably not for you. Okay. If you're already good with girls, you just wanted a few pickup lines, you wanted to learn my daytime script, probably not for you. But if you wanted 10 extra results, then this is going to be for you. Okay. So the first things that we're going to be doing is I'm going to walk you through my 5 main modules: magnetic approach, alchemic attraction, chase triggers, scientific arousal, and ultimate closing. Okay. And when I say closing, it's not just like getting a phone number. It's like fucking the girl. Okay. Having a win, guaranteeing that. Okay. When I say sexual arousal, it's not just a couple of lines. It's actually the full end-to-end sexualization process. When I say chase triggers, it's like learning how to control the sexual dynamics every single time, right? How to make her chase you, how to be the prize. And these are like in every module, so there's like plenty of videos, right? So we're talking about like over 20 in-depth videos inside these modules. And my goal is that all of your questions are answered. Okay, so how to never get in your head again, how to trigger her arousal no matter where you are with any kind of girl, how to bring her back to your place within just 2 hours. Okay, with a great predictability, how to solve the mystery of dating, right? So that you never wonder, like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? No, you're gonna know now. You're gonna know what you did wrong because you're gonna have a proven process. And so when you join, one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna instantly add you to a private Telegram group. It's not a channel. This is a group where you're gonna have access to all of the other guys. You're gonna be able to message other guys. And also the most important, because it's fun to message guys who suck at dating as well, but it's a much better thing to do to message me, right? So every time you got a question, hey Max, problem with this, can you help me? Boom, you're gonna send me a message. I'm gonna be able to reply to you. Okay. And so this group, this Brotherhood Elite, is only for the guys who invest in the program I'm gonna offer you today. Okay. I could sell the Brotherhood Elite, as an additional membership. I'm not going to. It's going to be free access for you just as a bonus. And it's the best way, I'm telling you, it's the best way to filter out all the losers, the people who don't want to invest in themselves, the people who are not serious about their success. They can go fuck themselves. Okay? Cool. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you're going to get access to the scripts vault. So if you guys have invested in the attraction script, just so you know, you're going to get more than that. You're going to get my sexualization script. You're going to get my closing script. Okay. And if you guys haven't invested in the attraction script, which is a 92 pages script, well, you're going to get access to it for free. Okay. So you're going to get a collection of all of my scripts. And guess what? Every time I can, I'm also updating my scripts, coming up with new things, right? New techniques. I'm improving my dating life as well. So it's going to be updated in real time as well. Okay. And another bonus is you're going to get a 4 weeks action plan. So why is this program 4 weeks, right? It's not like like here are the modules and just figure it out. No, every single day, every single week for 4 weeks straight, you're going to have missions. You're going to have written assignments. Okay, so the format that I just gave you of like missions and assignments, it's going to be the same. I'm going to use specific in-field exercises that you should do in order to get better. The things I learned, the things I had to do in order to get better, it's going to be that. Okay, I remember yesterday when I talked about the science of achievement and the book Peak, right? You're going to have this. You're going to have like missions that are going to take you from wherever you are to literally having total abundance. Every single day, you're going to have exercises. Same with the assignments. And you're going to have like an overall action plan. Okay. Cool. Awesome. So now that's great, right? I know what you're thinking. That's great. Okay, that's cool. Seems cool. What is the investment? So first, I can tell you, if you are wealthy, if you have a very, very comfortable living, then maybe you're better off joining my one-on-one expensive program that would cost you thousands of dollars. Okay, I want to be upfront with you. It's going to cost you a lot of money. And when you join my one-on-one program, which is great, by the way, love it. But the truth is, you're going to get access to the same content that I'm going to give you right now. Like it's not going to be anything different. You think I changed my content? I don't, right? It's the thing I learned. I put it on a PDF, on a course, or I say it one-on-one to my clients, but it's the same. So you're going to get access to that. And if you think about what it cost me personally to get access to that information, it's well over $5,000 because I had to follow Mr. Joel on his adventures. Okay, I invested probably $5,000, if not more, to just follow this guy over the summer, right? Going to clubs, things like this. So it cost me a lot of money, but in my opinion, it's worth a lot more. If you had to quantify what it's worth to get this area of your life solved, how much would it be? To me, with honestly a millionaire mindset, I'm not a millionaire yet. I want to be one. With a millionaire mindset, I believe deep down that figuring out your dating and love life solving that once and for all, it's worth at least 20 or 50 grand. Okay, I would invest at least 20 or 50 grand in a coaching if in my current situation, if I didn't have a mentor yet. Okay. But when you join, you're not going to pay any of that, obviously, because it's a course, right? And I want to make you an irresistible offer. I want to get you to take action. I want to reward the action takers. So on the website right now, this course, you could get it on your own for $997. Okay. But today I want to make you an irresistible offer, and I want you to get access to this course for just $297. So this is literally a 70% discount. Okay. And the price, just so you know, the price you're getting right now will never be as low as it is today. So why am I doing this? Well, again, I want to reward the action takers. I want to reward the guys who want to speed up their success. That's why I'm making you this irresistible pricing. Okay. So if you're right now, if you want to get it, you can click on this link and get it right now. Okay. Now I'm going to make another announcement with another bonus. So if you're not sure yet, stick with me for the next 2 minutes, because I'm going to give you a bonus. Your mind's going to be blown away. Okay. So just so you know, this offer will expire tonight at midnight Eastern time. Okay. And so when this offer expires, the price will go back to $997. You're going to lose a 70% discount. Okay. And by the way, if you do get it right now, make sure to message me on Facebook or email so that I can manually send you the logins. I didn't have time to put together the entire thing. So right now it's going to process your money. And then from there, you immediately send me a message on Facebook or email, and I'll get you the logins and all that stuff. Now, here's why I believe it is the best offer I've ever made in the history of my coaching business. Because I'm going to add 7 private masterclasses over the next few weeks. Okay, so I'm going to build those masterclasses. I'm going to walk you through them for the next 7 weeks. The total value of this will be $1,800, over $1,800 if I had to sell those on like a weekly basis, like, doing some sort of like a marketing video. That's how I would price it. Okay, so you're going to get access to the 9s and 10s manifesto. Okay, the 9s and 10s attraction manifesto, $297. The sexual market's dark truth, $297 as well. How to meet girls during the day masterclass, $297. One night stand mastery, $297. How to make her wet and be polarizing, $297. Sex God manual, $97. Decode her blueprint, $297. Guys, you see the value in this, honestly? Tell me in the chat if you see the value of all this. And obviously my project for this is I want to keep updating the library of masterclasses over time. And my project as well is for all the guys who are not in this course, I'm going to sell those masterclasses separately, right? So you're going to have access to all of it for free right now, just because you're an action taker. And I'm going to sell the rest to the people who don't know me yet. So you clearly have a massive competitive advantage over everybody else that is not in this call right now. Okay. And so this is why right now, if you do take action, elitedatingmentoring.com/best offer, you get access to all of this. Okay. Brotherhood Elite, attraction system, the worksheets, the scripts vault, the masterclasses, all of these things. Okay. So with that being said, right now, I want to open the space for the guys to ask me any questions they want about this program to make sure it's the right fit for you guys. Okay, so if you do have any questions right now, you're not sure, you're on the fence of joining, please unmute yourself, raise your hand, raise the little emoji hand, and I will give you the time, the space to ask me your questions. I want to make sure this is a fit for everybody who joins. With that being said, guys, I had a blast. I hope you had a really good time. And this event is going to make a change in your life. Okay. And the guys who are going to take the leap of faith and actually invest in themselves, I'm going to see you on the other side. And we're going to have a really, really good time. And I'm honestly very excited to see you succeed very fucking soon, a lot sooner than what you would expect. Okay. All right. I'll see you on the other side.